really love that those three statements and really reflecting on I know, or I trust what I know, I trust what I've done, I trust what I'm capable of. Like, those are very powerful, particularly thinking about trusting what I know and what I've done. Because I don't know about anybody else, but I can get into a place where I'm like, I'm just trying to get to the next thing. I'm so in a, I guess, flurry or hurry to like accomplish the goal that I don't always take the time to be like, oh, where were all the steps that got me here? And I can trust that I deserve to be where I am because I did the work. And I just think a lot about that as it relates to imposter syndrome. Like, that really is the antidote to that is one, taking the time to lay out the things like I've done these things, I've completed these steps. I could trust that I did it. No one gave it to me. It wasn't like it just fell out of the air, like you did the thing. So I want to say thank you, Dr. I, for helping us to reflect on that because that is very, very powerful. And everybody take a deep breath, you know? And I don't know if this is the order, but I trust what I know. I trust what I've done. I trust what I'm capable of. Thanks. I want you to take a minute and celebrate yourself for showing up today. Not everyone will get up on a Saturday morning and come to a Zoom room in preparation to write, especially after this week, after this month, after this new year. I'm sure with all the things that are going on, there are a lot of people who are saying to themselves, you know what, that's a February thing. I'll start over in February. Or I'll do it, fill in the blank. But you have made the decision to show up today. And we're not going to think about what's going to happen later. I just want you to take a moment in the vein of what we were just discussing and Dr. I just so beautifully asked us to reflect on. Celebrate that you showed up today. Celebrate and trust that you're going to get what you need from this retreat. Whether you're going to be here for a couple of hours, whether you're going to be here for the entire time, trust that you made the right decision for yourself. To answer your question, for those of you who haven't been here before, yes, you can write 10 pages this weekend, even if you need a bit of encouragement, because maybe you're like, I did it before, but can I do it again? Yes. Going back to what we've been talking about so far this morning, you can trust yourself to show up. You could trust yourself to put words on a page. You could trust yourself to make it to whatever the next milestone you're aiming for. What if you gave yourself permission to trust yourself? To fully trust that I don't have to have all the details, but I know enough. I have enough skills and resourcefulness to make it to the next phase. What if that's all you need right now? Because it is all going to be worth it. When I think about what most people are striving for in this journey, these are like 4 things. It's not an exhaustive list, but this is what I think about. I know you all here to be people who you want to do good work. Like, when it comes to who you are, how you see yourself, you are someone who produces quality work, and you want to feel confident when you go to sit down and finish out, whether it's your exams, your dissertation, maybe you're working on a manuscript. You want to feel confident that the words you're putting on a page are going to be the right words needed to pass the exam, to pass the defense, to get it published. Right? You want to get to graduation knowing you did everything that you were supposed to and more. And you did it so well that people are like, yes, how do we get you to work with us even more? You want to do your chair proud. You want to do your committee proud. It's not about, like, I think about this as like, it's not about so much of like, I just want the A for the sake of the A, as it is about, I just want to be a great scholar. I want to show up and contribute to the field. Do you want to be seen as a trusted, legitimate, respected source of knowledge? And you want your family to know that all the sacrifices, all the late nights, all the going back and forth, all the stressful times, that it was all worth it. And I am asking you to consider for the rest of this retreat, what if you've already done this? What if all the words that you've put down so far exceeds expectations? What if your chair, your committee, they're so honored to be working with you in your project? What if everybody around you already knows, they see you at graduation? They already know that you're going to make it. It's not because they're trying to put pressure on you, it's because they see you. They see you beyond the doubts and the second guessing and the what ifs. They see how you show up even when you're not trying. They see how much you care about the work. They see the effort you put in. What if they already see that? What if your family already knows how important this is for you and how much you've sacrificed, and they believe that it's worth it, which is why they keep asking you, when are you going to graduate? Because they're so excited to celebrate with you. Okay? Because listen, my mama was telling everybody, I'm like, girl, I'm not even done with the proposal defense. Stop telling people I'm about to graduate, right? But they know what they know, meaning not everyone around you is going to have the full context of what it means to become a doctor. They don't know all the ins and outs and the different parts you have to hit, but they are so unbelievably proud of you because you made it this far. The very fact that you enrolled into a doctoral program, that you're still in it, you are doctor to them, okay? They are already proud of you. So I'm saying you're going to get there. But I'm sure you're like, sounds good, girl. But you don't know my story. You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know what these past few months have been like for me. You don't know my chair. You don't know my committee. You don't know my program. How you know it's possible for me? How you know this is my reality? And I want you to feel free. Let me know in the chat. And you might be like, everything just feels so hard right now. That in theory, you might can understand, like, yeah, I get it. I need to write a couple of chapters. I need to do a few things. But because things feel so hard right now, you can't quite see how you're going to get there. What if you just let it be hard? Hear me out on this. Remember what I said. We're going to be open. We're going to be open to some things I'm going to say to you. What if we just let it be hard? Something I remind myself of is just because something is hard doesn't mean I have to add suffering on top of the hard. Suffering means I don't have to keep wishing it was different. I don't have to keep going back in the past and being like, oh, remember when I used to be on top of it and I was doing this and doing that? Why can't I get back there? I don't have to keep looking to the side and being like, well, so and so is doing this like this. And that must mean I don't have to do that. I could just let it be hard. I could sit in. This is uncomfortable right now. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like everything I'm doing isn't right. What if you just let it be hard? Now, on the surface, that may feel like, girl, that's going to make it worse. But I invite you to consider what I'm saying. What if you just accept, yes, this is a hard process, and this is the hard I'm choosing. You chose to enroll into a doctoral program because it was hard. Because when you get to the other side and you have that title of doctor, everybody respects it because they know that you went through something hard and you overcame it. That's the point. It's supposed to be hard. That's the badge of honor. You've been through so many hard things in your life. A doctoral process is not about to be the thing that takes you out. It just gets to be hard. You don't have to suffer. It just gets to be hard. But you may be like me. I get lost in all the what ifs. And again, this is not an exhaustive list, but these are some of the common ones that I hear and that I have to work through myself. What if I don't have enough time? What if I'm too exhausted? What if I don't have the support? What if I don't have what it takes? Right? Going back to the sounds good, girl, but you don't know my life. When you're thinking, what if I don't have enough time? Or like someone was saying, I want to graduate in May, but I don't know if I'm gonna make it. We're about to be done with January. How am I supposed to do all of this by May? Right? Camilla's like, I'm up. This baby won't sleep. Am I gonna make it to May? I want to remind you, you have done more with less time before. If we were to go through your work history, your past school experience, your life, the trauma you have overcome and endured, you've done more with less time and less resources. Writing a dissertation is not about it's going to take a certain amount of time. It's going to take however much time you want it to take. And I know that probably sounds a little bit like, what? What if it's true? You have the technical skills required to write a dissertation. You have them. You've written hundreds of papers, essays, emails, text messages. You know how to write. You know how to read and research. You know how to support your ideas with literature. You know how to answer people's questions about things that you have written. I'm naming this to say you have the skills. So you don't need time to learn skills. Then you might say to me, well, I need time, uninterrupted time to do all the work. And I'm asking you, what if that's just something you keep telling yourself, but it's not necessarily true in this process? Because the truth of it is, what you really want is time to enjoy the process. Most of you, like me, are someone like you love learning. You love getting lost in books, especially when you're interested in a topic. Okay, hyperfixation on a thing, the research for hours and hours, you love it. And people told you when you get to the dissertation, you're going to get to do that. You get to spend all your time just reading and going down rabbit holes because that's the point. But now that you're here, for those of you who are, you like, who lied to me? Because that's not what I'm doing. Everybody keeps telling me to put words on a page and move forward, and I feel like I'm rushed, and I don't know if I'm saying it the right way because I haven't had the chance to read. That's the resistance. Hear what I'm saying? The reason why it feels like you don't have enough time is because you want uninterrupted time where you don't feel guilty, you don't feel shame for going down the rabbit holes of reading and learning and talking about all these beautiful things that you're learning. You feel constricted by the process. Having time won't fix the fact that the system is what you're rubbing up against. You can have all the time in the world, but that's not going to change people still saying, hey, Camille, that's great that you want to tell me about all the ways Black women have it so hard in corporate and why they're going to entrepreneurship. But can you write these last two chapters so we can defend it? You could tell me about that later. But that feels like when someone comes to you and they say that, it feels like they're telling you, we don't care about what you have to say. We don't care about what you learn. This is a process, y'all. Becoming doctor is a very structured process. Yes, people did talk about it in a way that they did not mean. And I am asking you to consider, what if you just go ahead and give these people what they need so you can be done and be doctor and you can have all the time to still go down all the rabbit holes. Nobody's going to take away your skills of researching. Nobody's going to take away your love of learning. I'm saying they don't have to be the same. The dissertation is separate from your love of learning. Hopefully you're following me. If not, we could definitely talk about it. The second one, what if I'm too exhausted? You may have this myth of rest has to be earned, especially if you grew up in a household like mine. You can't listen. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I couldn't do nothing until I did my list of chores or whatever. I did my homework. But what if, while that was sure helpful at some times, and when you think about your parents or your caregivers, it was helpful for them at a point in time, considering their circumstances. What if this is not helpful to you anymore? And in fact, it's more of a reason why it's harder to get to the other side of the dissertation. What if rest isn't about being earned, but it's a basic need? Because it is, by the way. Ancestors didn't have the privilege of rest, but we have the privilege of rest. Is it a bad thing for us to use our privilege? I don't think so. That's what the sacrifice was for. If you want to continue to push forward, like a lot of people say, I'm doing this for my family, I'm doing this for those who came before me, doing this for the ancestors, then honor their sacrifices. Go lay down somewhere. Because you overworking, you doing all the things is not going to make it easier for the people that you see don't have the same option. Let me ground this. You might be saying, I was talking to someone earlier this week, and they were saying like, oh, it's not fair because my friends don't have the same ability to rest or to take time off in the middle of the day. And I had to tell them like, but just because you skip out on it doesn't mean they get more time. A lot of times we will say, well, so-and-so doesn't have it like this, so I shouldn't have it like this either. But you're just denying yourself. It doesn't make it easier for the other person. It doesn't go back and give your ancestors the time or the energy. Why can't you have it for yourself? Why can't you allow yourself to just rest? Because energy management is how you get to the other side of this dissertation. You burning yourself out, you talking shit to yourself all night, you scolding yourself, it's not working. And it's not going to get you there faster. I know it seems like it will because that's how you grew up, but it's hurting you, it's not helping you. What if I don't have the support? You might be thinking like, I can't do this by myself because if I'm doing it by myself, now who's going to tell me if I'm doing it right or not? How do I know that the way I'm moving in this process is the right way? I'm going to say a thing again, and you're going to be like, I don't believe you, but just hear me out. What if, for many of you, yet again, you have found yourself in a situation where you are more knowledgeable and more experienced than the people who have been tasked to help you through this process? What if the reassurance or the guidance or the direction that you're looking for from your chair, your committee, your faculty, they can't give it to you? Because your understanding, your brilliance, like your ability to figure shit out, is so far beyond what they're able to do that they can't fully guide you in the way that you're looking for. I'm not saying that they're not helpful. I'm saying you're looking for someone to tell you, do this, do that, do this. But what if they can't? Like, honestly, sit with that. What if they can't? What if it's not, oh, it's their job, they should do it. But what if they truly cannot? What if they don't have the knowledge or the skills or the ability? What if you are teaching them more than they are teaching you? This is heartbreaking. It is frustrating because you're like, I mean, this is a whole building full of doctors. What do you mean? I'm not even at graduation yet, and you're trying to tell me I know more than them in this particular topic, in this particular area. Yes. What if that's true? I also invite you to write down any voices that are going against what I'm saying. Write that down, give it space. It's, people say it's lonely at the top. It's not necessarily for the reasons of like, I don't know, people change or whatnot, which that could certainly be a part of it. But the loneliness comes from what I have found is that you have to make decisions fully trusting yourself. Meaning there's no other person that you can go to who can give you a definitive, yes, I'm doing this right. To be a doctor means you are putting yourself out there into the world to say, I'm an expert. So that means you are the one creating the certainty for others. The cost of doing that means you learn you're living with uncertainty all the time because you're just trying to figure it out. It's about getting comfortable with being uncertain. It's about being comfortable with, this is my best guess, like based on my experience, my knowledge, this is the answer. And it's about trusting yourself that if something doesn't work out the way you thought it was, or the answer doesn't turn out the way you thought it would be, you trust yourself to know enough to have the skill set to be able to pivot. Because the answer that you provide to people, 90% of the time, is going to give them what they need. That 10% of the time is where you get to learn and go down rabbit holes and try to figure out new ways. But it doesn't mean that the world is going to end. Okay, I'm going to get off the soapbox. What if I don't have what it takes? You might be looking around at your program, your cohort, other people, and you like, they figured it out. I know I'm smarter than so and so. I know I work harder than homeboy, yet they graduated and I'm still stuck in place. So I'm the common denominator. There got to be something wrong with me. And here's what I want you to consider. What if, for the people you're looking at, they're treating this dissertation, this exam, like any other task? For them, it's not that deep. It's the degree of becoming a doctor is more about a means to an end. They don't care about the research topic. They don't care about if it speaks to their own experience or not. They picked a chair who they felt like would help them excel in their career. They said, what would you like for me to study? They went to go study that. They did exactly what their chair told them to do. They wrote it up. They let it be whatever it was going to be. It didn't have to be their best work. They turned it in and now they're doctor. I'm not saying don't care about your work. I'm not saying don't try to honor your participants or don't try to honor your family. I'm simply just making a connection for you because you care is why it's taking you longer. Because you are concerned about doing a great job in honoring people is why it takes longer. That's not a good or a bad thing. It just is what it is. You comparing yourself to other people who don't have the same heart as you, who doesn't have the same level of care and intentionality as you, that's not fair to you or them, really. They just follow the steps. Let me just take a moment. Okay, let me pause and just say, let me know how you're feeling so far in this chat. You can give me a word, you can give me an emoji, but how are you feeling? How are we feeling? I know we're getting real. I want you to think about this. Like a lot of the stories that we tell ourselves and the questions we ask ourselves, it's not what we think it is. Mm. And thinking about that, Camille, about managing your expectations, something I will say to that is people, you're going to say, I'm going to graduate at this time. And people like your chair, your committee, are going to say, that's not possible. We'll see when we get there. You telling them, oops, when you're going to graduate, it's not for them to believe it and to validate that it's possible. It's just to let them know. Because your chair needs to know, right? But we don't need them to believe. Because the evidence is going to speak for itself. Because when you show up, Camille, with a completed dissertation that blows him away, just like he did with that proposal, he's going to say, go ahead and schedule your defense. And you can show people who you are over and over again. They can watch you do impossible things and still forget every single time who you are. That's why it's not important for people to know who you are. It's important for you to know who you are. And I'm speaking directly to Camille, but I hope everybody else is, I'm talking to you too. Camille, you did something, right? Like by this point, if we go back to last year, this time, I mean, you just wanted to finish the proposal before the baby got here. And you did that in some. You finished the proposal, you defended that proposal, you collected all of your data, analyzed it, and now you're writing up final chapters. But you just wanted to, before you went back to work, you just wanted to have the proposal done, and you have exceeded that. So it's okay if he doesn't get it. He don't have to get it, right? But you still know he supports you. He cares. He just can't see beyond his own limitations, but that's his problem. It ain't got nothing to do with you. Just because he couldn't do it doesn't mean you that has like to be your truth. You have proven to yourself that you can do this. And it's just about you keep showing up, putting one foot in front of the other. I know you had a hard time because the baby and sleep deprived, but just hold on to your evidence. What did Dr. Oz say? Trust, what is it? I trust what I've done. Trust what you've done. Thank y'all for putting your responses in the chat. Yeah, all of this, y'all. Everything, when you want to do something hard, it comes down to how do you talk to yourself? What is the relationship you have with yourself? Over the next 2 days, we are going to go through a structured process called the Scholar Ready Routine. Because people forget that even though you are a doc student, you're still a student. You've come into this journey expecting to learn how to be a scholar. But somewhere along the way, most programs forget that you're learning and they just expect that you know. So over the next 2 days, I'm going to give you a process. Not that I want to make you a clone of me or whatnot. I want to give you a foundation where you can build off of. So if this process works for you as is, take it, run with it. If you need to tweak it to fit you better, do that. I'm giving you permission right now to tweak this. What I don't give you permission to do, though, is to use this as an excuse as to why you have to stop. Because even though this is a step-by-step process, remember, your brain is going to tell you it can't be this simple. It can't work this well. I can't, like, what does it mean if it is it hard and I'm not staying up all night? I'm going to repeat back to you. What if it gets to be easy for you? What if this part gets to be easy for you? Now that you have a process, what if it gets to be easy? We're going to talk about time management. How do you learn to recognize and prioritize the most important tasks so that you can get more done in less time? We've already started with the energy management piece, which is your mindset. You just need more energy. The time isn't the problem we're solving for. We're solving for how do you have more energy to show up, do the things, and get them done and trust that you're doing it right. And you're going to be surrounded, which I hope you already feel in this first hour, surrounded by support about and around this community, because we're going to give you the accountability to show up. For those of you who finish your dissertation, you have all of this support. Use it. It's okay to use the support. If you need us to help you to figure out how to better use the program, please let us know. For everyone, continue to invest in yourself, right? Because you invested to be here. Show up, be present in the way that you can be, right? Being present looks multiple different ways. Sometimes being present looks like I'm going to color while I listen to this retreat in my headphones. Sometimes being present means I'm going to go declutter my closet while I listen. Sometimes being present is you being here, taking notes with your camera on. Sometimes being present is, girl, I'm in my bed. Okay, but I'm going to do a little emoji or two in this chat, but I'm listening. Define that for yourself what be present is. I'm just asking you to give the attention that you can in this moment. So that includes removing distractions. And remember what I said earlier, distractions can be something external to us, but it can also be internal. A distraction can look like, well, I know this already. This won't work for me. I tried this. Yeah, I did something similar. I'm asking you to try it again. I'm asking you to try it this time. I'm asking you to go through this entire process and then tell me at the end it won't work for you. And then you can tell me exactly why it won't work for you. I don't want to hear anything that you've entertained in your head and you make conclusions in your head as to why it won't work. I want actual evidence as to why it won't work. Returners, even if you've been here since the first one we did last May, this is a great test, a checkpoint to see how far have you come since the last time you've heard this information. Continue to shine light on shame, because there's a critical voice that's going to tell you to stop, and listen, this critical voice is smart. It's been with you for a very long time. It knows how to tell you things. So it's not going to be direct, like, oh, you shouldn't do this. Marie, you shouldn't do this. No, that critical voice is going to sound like, well, Marie, remember when you gotta go pack the closet, Marie. Like, remember, or oh, the girls they need this for tomorrow. You need to end this day early. Go do that. Like, the critical voice is very smart. It's very manipulative. And I don't mean manipulative. I don't think manipulation necessarily has to be a bad thing. But that critical voice knows how to it knows how to distract you. Just call attention to it. Write out what it's saying, put it in a chat. That's the way you put light onto it. Because you'll notice that when you say a thing where you have to write it out, it sounds completely different than when you're saying it in your brain. Externalize it, shine a light on it, and you'll bring the intensity down. And then be a confidant. People are going to share some things here. Don't go telling everybody business. Okay, I'm about to cut this live off right now because I only want to do the beginning part. But don't go telling everybody's business. You can share lessons, personal ahas. I hope that you do, but don't leave the space telling the people's business, okay? Because you don't want nobody telling your business. What you're doing is not working. I want to reiterate this. We're going to go through this process. And you're going to say, well, that's not how I was doing it. And I'm going to gently but firmly tell you, but your way is not working. And I'm being this firm because it's not because I want to hold you back. It's because I want you to get to graduation. If you are someone who cannot sit down and consistently write 10 pages at a time, if you're struggling with motivation, if you're struggling with consistency, your process is not working. Try a new way. Try it our way. So like I said, this is a guided experience. We're going to go through step by step. We're not going to have endless unstructured writing time because think about you and your neurospiciness. Transitions are not your friend. You go to these writing retreats and they give you 8 hours and 10 hours and endless days, and you spend the most of that time trying to figure out how to get going. You spend 2 hours trying to get yourself set up. You got to go get your snacks. You got to put your computer up. Then once you sit down, you go, okay, where did I leave off? What do I do now? Let me go read. It's just endless time. Instead, we're going to follow a process so you can get into action quickly. We're going to talk a lot about transitions because that's what's really getting in your way. Not time, transitions. I'm going to ask you to work in a different way. Please trust the process. Please talk back to me if you're like, no, girl, I don't like this. I don't like it. It's okay. We're going to be here together. I am bringing years, okay, of building communities, trainings. My background is in student affairs. For those of you who don't know, this is what I've been doing since an undergrad student, is building communities and environments where learning happens in a culturally relevant way. So are you ready? So let me know. Put a 1 in the chat if you're yes. Yes, girl, I'm ready. 2, I'm not sure. Not even sure what I signed up for, but I'm here, girl. I'm here. Or 3, no. Nope. All responses are welcome. Thank y'all for the ones. Okay, for those of you on the internet, we will see you. You're welcome to join us. You can just comment 10 and come to qualscholars.com and sign up and come join us. We will talk to y'all later. Okay, y'all.